And I'm just gonna sprinkle that on there. You want that nice tubular shape. Here we go. Ooh, look at that.
This is pretty legit.
Hey guys, this is Andrew. I'm here in the Dinner Time Live kitchen. Today I'm gonna show you how to make the everything spiced flatbread. We're gonna start off first with our dough. So yeah, a cup and a half of warm water, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and about 2 teaspoons of yeast. So we'll start by mixing this all up. And then once it's all mixed, we're gonna let it sit just for a couple minutes. Let that yeast kind of do its thing. When it starts to kind of bubble and get a little active, you'll know it's ready to go. And you can start the mixing. So while we're waiting for that to activate, I got 3 3/4 cup of AP flour and about 2 tablespoons of salt, kosher salt. So while we're waiting for our yeast to activate in the next couple minutes here, I'm just gonna gently mix these 2 ingredients together. Just get them all nice and mixed up together. It's been about 3 or 4 minutes. You can see that yeast, water, sugar mixture, that everything's dissolved in there. We've got some bubbling action going on top, so we are ready to go. So I'm gonna add that into my flour. And then I'm also gonna add about 1/4 cup of olive oil. Okay, lock that, start it on slow. And then we're gonna go a little mixy-mixy. Don't go too high, it'll start spitting out everywhere. You wanna wait till everything's kind of incorporated to turn the speed up a little bit, otherwise you're gonna have a big floury mess. So I let this mix on the number 2 speed for about 4 minutes. So I'm just gonna pull all that off the hook. And I'm just gonna do a very thin coating of olive oil on the outside here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this dough and we're gonna let it proof. So some of the more modern fancy ovens have like a proofing setting. And that will usually take about an hour to proof, or you could even just let it sit out, which is gonna be even a little longer, more like close to 2 hours. But yeah, so we got that in there. I'm going to cover that with plastic wrap. By the time it's proofed and ready, you want it to be almost double in size. And we'll be back and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, guys, we are back and it's been about an hour and 20 minutes. It's almost doubled in size. While it was proofing, I went ahead and grabbed the rest of our ingredients. I got about 1.5 sticks of butter, 1/2 cup of everything-bagel seasoning, and about 1 cup of sliced scallion. We'll use all those in a minute. First, we're gonna start rolling our dough out. So I'm gonna put a little olive oil down to avoid any sticking. Not too much. All right. And I'm gonna punch this dough back down. And I'm gonna kind of start forming it into the rectangular shape we're gonna need. Just a little olive oil on top too. That will help. Okay. So your end result here, you want the dough to be spread out about 1/2 inch thick. Nice rectangular shape. All right, that looks good to me. Next thing, we're gonna slather this up with some butter. You want your butter to be sitting out room temperature, nice and soft, so you can spread it evenly. We're gonna just spread it around. Try and get a nice even coating on the whole sheet of dough. All right, butter's all spread out nice and even. Like I said, that was about 1.5 sticks worth of butter. Let's see, next move is gonna be our everything bagel seasoning. And I'm just gonna sprinkle that on there. Go with my scallions. Okay, everything's on there. My butter, my everything bagel spice, my scallions. Now I'm just gonna do a little pinch of salt on top. Not too much, because a lot of times the bagel spice will have salt in it already, so we don't wanna, and the dough has salt as well, so we don't wanna go too far. Because I have made this before, and guess what I did? I put too much salt. All right, so we're gonna start rolling her up, nice and tight. All the way across. Just take your time. If you see I'm working from one end down to the other, kind of, it might look complicated, but it is not. Just try to keep it even so you don't end up with like a baseball bat, you know? You want that nice tubular shape. And if you put enough olive oil on the cutting board or your work surface, it should not be a problem. It's gonna make that even easier to roll up. All right, next step, got that. I'm gonna start coiling this bad boy up like a snake. Pinch it so it gets started there like that. Then just kind of work your way around. Then you're gonna end up with something like that. And I'm just gonna kind of push it back down and try to get it into one solid round piece of dough. Otherwise it's gonna, when you bake it, it'll kind of just separate and uncoil itself, working out those seams. And I think that's gonna do it. Boom. Right next to me here, I've got a preheated oven. I preheated it to 375 degrees. And I've got an 8-inch cast iron skillet. So I got this handy dandy mat, and hopefully it's gonna land into the center of the skillet and not off to the sides, because then I'll have a whole nother problem. Uh-oh, I missed. That's all right though. There we go. Work it back down. Cover the whole bottom of the skillet here. And like I keep saying, there's plenty of olive oil in this toast, so you can see like it's not really sticking. It's working with me. I'm gonna go around the edges here with a little olive oil, and that's gonna just kind of work itself down to the bottom. We'll let that go for a couple minutes just to get the browning process started and speed things up a little bit before we put it into the oven. So that olive oil on the outside, it's also gonna help let you know when things are starting to happen and get hot in your pan. You can see the bubbles going. I'm gonna lower the heat just a little bit. It's hot, it's going. It's starting to brown probably on the bottom. I don't wanna go too far, like I said, so I'm gonna go right in here, 375 degrees. And I'll see you in about a little less than 10 minutes, hopefully. Okay, so it has been in the oven for exactly 10 minutes. There's some browning going on here around the edges. So that to me is a sign that it's ready to be flipped. There's a little danger element to this. You got a lot of hot olive oil going on, so you want to be really careful. Hopefully I don't burn myself. Really a nice long like pastry spatula would be good for this, like an offset, but here we go. Ooh, look at that. All right. So yeah, that's golden brown, nice. Probably could have gone just a little bit more. So like I said, that was 10, maybe you go 11, depends on the oven. So I'm going back in for at least another 10 minutes, and we will see you when it comes out. All right, look at that. So yeah, it looks great, 25 minutes in the oven. So in the beginning, you'll remember there was a lot of olive oil, a lot of buttery olive oil in there. And guess what? Lucky for us, that all got absorbed into our bread. Yum, yum. So that's it. Let's see how we did on the bottom side. Make sure our timing's good. How's that look? Yeah, pretty good. I could have probably pressed it down a little more, because you can see right here, it's starting to fall apart. That's the whole point of like punching it back down, is to try to get a little more connective action going on there. Man, it smells great. How'd we do? Is it cooked? It's cooked. Yay. Yeah, you definitely want the center to be cooked through, not doughy. Yeah, that's it. That is our Everything Bagel Spiced Flatbread from Dinner Time Live with David Chang. We've got Kelsey.
Hello.
Here to taste some bread. So I got a fork for you.
Okay.
But you know what? I recommend just tearing right into that thing. Yeah, that's what we're working with here. I think it turned out pretty damn well. Pretty darn well.
It smells really, really, really good.
Yeah, I love the layering in there with the seasoning and all that butter, and it's really good stuff.
Mm-hmm. This is great.
So on the show, we served it with like bagel accoutrement, like smoked salmon. You could do whipped creme fraiche or whipped cream cheese, capers, pickled red onions. Anything you'd normally put on a bagel would be great on this.
This is pretty legit.
Yeah, I don't even think it needs any of that stuff. I think it's great just by itself. More, okay. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. We're gonna keep cooking these recipes as much as we can. We'll see you guys soon.